This is Dream Power Radio, the place where your dreams turn into reality. Here is your host, Debbie Spector-Weissman.
Hello, and welcome to Dream Power Radio. I'm your host, certified dream life coach, Debbie Spector-Weissman. This is the place where we talk about dreams, both daytime and nighttime dreams, and how you can use them to make the internal shift to a life you love and rediscover the truth of who you really are. We've talked a lot on this program about how we can find the answers to what we want or need through our dreams. We can do this by paying attention to the images and symbols that we get in our nighttime dreams, and they may be telling us insights that we can use and receive. Another way we can do this is by asking our dreams to help us access the Akashic Records. What are the Akashic Records, you ask? These are the events, thoughts, images, and feelings that have been amassed through the universe over the course of time. How do we access them? How do we understand them? How do we know what to ask for? Well, that's the subject of today's episode. And leading us through this understanding is my guest, writer, speaker, and unconditional love coach, Judith Costa. Judith works with her clients to help them learn how to truly love and get to know themselves so they can live happier, more meaningful, and abundant lives. Welcome to Dream Power Radio, Judith.
Thank you, David. It's a pleasure being here with you today.
Oh, well, thank you, Judith, for being here. Well, Judith, did I explain what the Akashic Records are correctly?
Yeah. I will say for people that have never heard this name before, that the Akashic Records are recording an energetic field where everything gets recorded about you. Every experience, every thought, every feeling, but not only about you. Everything has a record. Your house has a record. This conversation that we are having, this podcast has a record. It's like the history of the universe. It's recorded and we have access to it. You explained it very well. Everyone have access to this information if you know how to do it.
How do we ever figure out that the Akashic Records actually exist?
They are named in all the important books, not only in the Bible, in Vedic texts. Then this is an ancient concept. Even the Mayans work with the Akashic Records, but they have been called so many different names, the Book of Life, and so many other complicated names like the Akashic Records. Akashic comes from Akash. That means the ether in Sanskrit. But in the past, people connected to them just with the understanding that there is this guidance, this divine guidance, and the information is there for our support. We can access these records not only to have information, to receive the guidance. Information is kind of guard. We call these beings that guard information, the masters or the lords of the Akashic Records, and they are just emissaries of the divine, pure and unconditional love, and they give us the information that we need at every moment.
Well, let me ask you this, though. If the Akashic Records contain aspects of all human knowledge, how do we know what applies to us individually?
Let me explain you in a different way. When I train people, I have been trained by Akashic Records Consultants International. Then there are different ways of accessing the records. In the level 1 class, we teach people how to access their own Akashic records. And they can receive information about their soul journey from the inception, from the separation from the source, and all the journey that this soul have been doing, who you are in this incarnation, and also the potential development of your soul. In the level 2 class, we train people to access the Akashic Records of everything. And that means that you can access the Akashic Records of other people and do consultations, as I do, but you can also access the Akashic Records of your family, of your business, for your own development. You don't have to do this professionally. It's just for you. It's a tool that can help you in your life at whatever level you want. Then we are accessing whatever we want. We can ask about us, or we can ask about others. We can ask about past relationship, about our children, I remember once that I had a problem with American Express because they charged me for the total amount instead of the partial amount. And I freak out because it created a big problem for me. And I wasn't sure if I could solve it. Then these Akashic records are not there for spiritual matters only, or to give us the answers of our dreams or the interpretation of the dream. They are for mundane matters like, how do I resolve this problem with American Express? And they gave me the guidance, and I call again, and I said that, and it was resolved. They even apologized. They give me back the fee that the other bank charged me. That it was a perfect resolution. It took me some time on the phone, but it was a perfect resolution. Then they are there for whatever you want to ask, whatever it's worrying you, whatever you need to know.
So is there anything at all that the Akashic Records can't give guidance to?
What is going to happen is that if you're not ready for the answer, they may give you less information. I always tell the people when we are going to do a consultation, please sit still and make a list of questions. Because when you sit, you are preparing the list saying, this is what I need from you. And the more heartfelt are your questions, the more you will receive. Let me say it in a different way. Let's suppose that I have doubts that my husband is cheating on me. And I want to ask the question to a consultant like me. Then if you are not sure if you want to know, you have doubts in your heart, because if you receive a yes, you have a big problem because you don't want to do anything about it. But if you receive a no, you are not going to believe it because you have almost certainty that this is happening. Then what is going to happen? That you may not receive the clarity that you want because there is no clarity in your heart. You don't want a yes, you don't want a no. Then you may receive an explanation of why this situation is happening, but they will answer concretely to you. They are not just talking about the neighbor in the next building. They are talking with you about you and your life. But you cannot also, it's kind of forbidden to spy on others. You cannot start asking questions about other people. That's the reason why when we work with the Akashic Records, we ask for permission. I ask people to sign a consent. But it's for you to understand that this is sacred work, and that for me, I'm very professional, but I'm very respectful with all of these things. Then for me, it's very important to be in front of someone and respect the normal rules. It should be common sense. But the information is protected. When we finish a session, we close the Akashic Records, and I don't have access to the information anymore. Then don't think that everyone can be like spying on each other. They're not going to answer these kind of things if you start asking about the behavior or things that other beings are doing.
So what if you're not sure if you want to know the answer or not? So would that be the first question to ask?
Yeah.
Find out if you're sure.
Is this a good question for me to ask right now? Can you help me with this? Or is there anything I'm not seeing right now that doesn't allow me to receive the answer? Then there are many ways. And we also train people how to ask questions from different perspectives, because the relationship with them is through question and answer that we journal. And it's very important to, when we are channeling for ourselves, when I'm opening these Akashic Records for me, even if I'm asking about a dream, I am dealing with my belief systems, with my self-doubt, with how I feel about the situation. Then when I'm opening the Akashic Records of someone else, like if we do it right now, Debbie, I'm not invested. I'm not in your life. I don't even know you good enough to figure out any information. That I can be a total observer and neutral, like a good consultant has to do. But when you work with yourself, you have to be very sure that the ego is not there to sabotage the process, because we all do it. Then there is a technique that we train people that it's first, you ask the question and answer it from your mind. Second, you open your Akashic Records and allow them to answer the question. And then you will see the differences, different language, different examples, different information, totally opposite one from the other, similar but different. It's very interesting how these things happen. And that's the reason why I believe that it's very useful for interpreting your dreams.
Yeah, so I wanted to get to dreams. So first of all, I just want to ask you, because Yeah, we're going to talk about how we access the Akashic Records. And you said one way we can do this is through our dreams. So tell me how that would work in the situation.
No, it's the way we access the Akashic Records is with a key. A key is a vibrational key, it's not a physical key. And this vibrational key is a set of words. Let's call it prayer. Then when we read this prayer, we align into the energy of the Akashic Records. We become this pillar of light that is able to receive information. Once we are into the Akashic Records, mind of the clients, then we can ask whatever we want. And then when I do private sessions about dream interpretation, the client has to tell me the dream. The client has to give me information about what is going on in his life. And we both together arrive to an understanding of what is the best interpretation for the dreamer. But in the Akashic Records, no, I don't really need any information as a consultant to help my client with the dream. The Akashic Records will do the interpretation. Then the client only has to say, I had a dream last night about me being in the beach. The Akashic Records know everything because everything is recorded about your dream. And they will give the client the information. We just have to identify which dream, because you may have 3 different dreams in a night. And which one are we talking about?
Right. Well, also, that brings up a question for me. All dreams are individual. Like you could have a dream about being on the beach. I can have a dream about being on the beach, but the meanings will be totally different for
Of
each
course.
of us, depending on
Of
our
course.
circumstances and the situations. So how does the Akashic Records differentiate that?
Because they are not elaborating. They are, I don't like the comparison, but I'm gonna use it for people to understand. What is happening with the artificial intelligence? That we put a machine, we feed the machine with all the information, and this machine is able to give us multiple answers about everything. Then the Akashic Records are much better than this artificial intelligence. They have all the wisdom of the time. Then when they are giving you an interpretation, they are not giving you an interpretation about a beach and you. They know you. They know who you are. They know exactly where are you. They know exactly what you need at the moment. And they are going to meet you exactly where you are without pushing you. Then they have all the information, not only about all possible interpretations of a beach in a dream. They have all the information about you, and they put it together in a way that you can understand exactly the meaning of your dream for your guidance and your development. The more you want, the more you ask.
So you would just, and then you could continue asking questions about the same.
Of course, it's a dialogue. Then let's imagine that they say, oh, Debbie, your dream about the beach is because you need some time for relaxation. That will be an easy example. I'm not saying that this is. Then it's good for you to think, or it connects you with some moment in your life when you were very relaxed and so much in love and you are missing this. And then you can ask, okay, tell me more about that because it resonates in my heart. And they will say, well, this is exactly what happened in 1982 when you went with this man to that beach, and then these things start happening in your life. And then it's just an example for you to understand. You say, okay, but I don't get that. Can you explain me how is this related with my life right now? Because then they will give you more information about why the connection is made and what you can do. And even better, if there is anything that you need to resolve, we have tools within the Akashic Records to let go. Then patterns of thought or behavior, something that we carry at an emotional level, then they will guide you through the process of how you can do that.
That is very fascinating. And on that note, we are going to take a short break. We are speaking all about the Akashic Records with Judith Costa, and we'll be right back. Hi, it's Debbie. If you like what you're hearing on Dream Power Radio, I've got good news for you. There's more information, more insights, more ways for you to live your dream life on my YouTube channel, The Dream Power Experience. Check out insightful video interviews with some of the leading experts in self-growth and empowerment. plus a few videos where I share my own advice on how to break free from whatever's holding you back. So take a look at the Dream Power Experience on YouTube. Go to youtube.com/@the-Dream-Power-Experience.
Welcome back to Dream Power Radio with your host, Debbie Spector-Weissman.
Yes, welcome back to Dream Power Radio. I'm your host, Debbie Spector-Weissman, and we're talking about the Akashic Records with Judith Costa. Well, Judith, let's say you are in a session getting insights through the Akashic Records, and you find out something that is holding you back. Let's say through this discovery, you find out that I'm not worthy, as an example. How can the Akashic Records help you resolve that belief so that you do feel you're worthy?
Yeah, it's a very good question because my specialty is self-love. Then it seems that through the Akashic Records, a lot of people that have this issue, they don't love themselves, are attracted to me. They have not seen my website and they don't know that this is my expertise. And they may come with a lack of abundance or a problem to find a job. And when we are in the Akashic Records will point out what is the beginning or the origin and what is the situation why you feel that you are not worthy. They will give you information about that. They may say, I don't know, your parents didn't love you. And then you start thinking, or when you had a divorce, or this comes from 3 lifetimes ago, because this and this and this happened to you, or whatever it is. Then depending on what is the issue, what is the reason why you feel stuck and you don't love yourself enough or you don't feel worthy, they will give you an action plan or different tools or just recommend certain things. Here, it totally depends what is the reason why you don't feel worthy. But let's suppose that the reason is that you have never feel loved. Then in whatever relationship that you establish, you end up feeling that you give, but you don't receive, that you are always trying to please others. Then the Akashic Records will tell you that there are certain points in the hand, let's suppose, to make it easy, in the right hand. We call them grace points. Then, for example, one of the things that happen is that under the small finger, we have the emotional release grace point. Then when the client comes here and press this point, what it's really saying is, please help me to release everything that I carry at an emotional level that is affecting my lack of self-worth. Then the healing from the perspective of the Akashic Records, it's an act of divine grace. And divine grace is given to everyone that asks for it. Then when we put our finger in here, we say just, please, I'm ready to receive the divine grace. Help me release all of these emotions that I have stuck. And by doing this, we direct the consciousness to disconnect and clear all of these emotions. It doesn't matter if it's from yesterday or from 5 lifetimes ago. Then whatever it's in your past that you are ready to release, it's released from you. It's like they recycle the energy. But if you are not ready because you say, yeah, but I don't believe that this is going to work, for example, they respect your free will. They cannot take anything from you that you are not ready to give. Then I usually have heard this example in sessions. It's like when we have to let go, when we want to forgive something, even to forgive ourselves, it's like when we clean up our house, no? We put everything in a big bag. But if we don't take it outside, the garbage truck is not going to take it. We have taken it from maybe the kitchen or the closet, whatever it is, but it still remains in our house. Then here it happens the same. In order to receive the healing, you just have to say, yes, thank you. I'm very grateful. Yes, thank you. Give me more of this healing. Then we have different grace points that we will go through in the session. I'm not going to make it longer right now, no? But we have one to release thought patterns and patterns here. We have one here to return to a point of original innocence. We have one here to let go of things that we carry from our lineage or from our ancestors. And we have several prayers that may help. Then depending on the specific case of the person, because they are not general advice, when we are in a session, the advice is just for the client, then they will recommend certain things. And I have witnessed many different cases with many different advice for each one.
And if the client is ready to release, does that release happen in one session?
Amazing things can happen in one session. You can go to my website and read the testimonials, but just to give an example, there was a couple, they came for a session and the person explained that was stuck with the paperwork to become a citizen of the United States for 8 years. Different lawyers, different process, no way, like stuck in the point. And he couldn't understand why, because everything seemed to be okay, but the process was delay and delay and delay. Within the session, we find out the reason why this was happening. There was some releasing, there was some clearing. And the next thing I know, when I saw him for a different session, but several years, maybe 1 year or two after, is that he immediately resolved the thing and become a citizen. And now the wife is also a citizen. And I have done sessions with all the family for different reasons because they were very happy. But things like that seem not to be in your hands get resolved. Sometimes we don't understand why we are in certain situations. And there are many, many different branches in a tree, like happens with situations. Sometimes if we don't receive abundance, it might be because of we lack self-worth, but maybe it might be because our ancestors still influence us, or we have patterns, educational patterns from our parents. Or it might be because you have never learned really how to handle money because you have always been a woman and not have access to that, and you feel uncomfortable with the energy of money. Or it might be because many other different things. Then there is not just one explanation. That's the beauty of this. It's like dreams, and they are so big. There is not one explanation for what a river means in a dream. That's the reason why the dream dictionaries don't work. You have to interpret depending on your circumstances, on what is happening in your life, and only the dreamer knows that. Then it happens the same with the Akashic Records. They know you individually, specifically at the soul level. And then they advise you. Not everybody that has the same problem, you. They even use specific examples for you. They speak in your language. Sometimes they are more funny, sometimes they are more serious. Then it's not just, let me sit here and channel something for you again. No, they are very aware of who you are. They love you as you are. They respect you, and they don't want you to be fixed. They want you to connect with who you are, to live the best life ever.
Wonderful. Is there a typical length for a session?
I like to do a 1 hour session. It's never an hour because by the time we say hello and all of this, and then the payment, I always charge at the end, it becomes like 75, sometimes 90 minutes. I did sometimes a promotion for half an hour sessions, and it's good enough. But I like the depth that we have when we have 1 hour. But yeah, sometimes people want to go longer. Sometimes people say, I only have 2 questions. If it's a regular client, I will do it. But for a new client, at least I recommend half an hour.
Understood. You talked about using the Akashic Records for personal insights and even getting insights to other people you might know, families, situations like that. Can you also use the Akashic Records to get answers to things that affect us all, like how to achieve peace in the world or climate change?
Yeah, you can do that. Whatever you want to know at a particular level or at a general level. And for example, one of the books that I was planning to write was about answering important questions that we all have through the Akashic Records. Then you can ask what happens with people in this religion, or how there can be more peace, or what happens when we die, or all of these general questions, but they are important for all beings, no? How we can improve nature situation or the climate disaster, all of these things.
So what does the Akashic Records say about how we can get peace in the world?
Well, I have to confess that I am doing this interview with the Akashic Records of the interview open. Then having the Akashic Records of the interview open will allow me to give you some answer, but that's not the proper way of asking about this, but we will do it. Then let me ask them, what can we do to have more peace in the world?
Yes. I think we'd all like the answer to that question.
Yeah. They say that there is going to be a moment and that it's arriving. Even you feel it's slowly arriving, but it's arriving, where we will realize that we are really all connected. This concept that you are an individual different than another individual, it's just in your imagination, because you are parts of the same entity that we call Source. You call it with different names. As part of Source, you are all together. You have heard before this example, Judith, they say you can explain it to them about being the ocean and also a drop in the ocean. They want you to understand that the ocean is in peace. Some drops might be like in a wave. Some drops might be at the bottom of the ocean, and some will be in the shore, and they are all together but located in different parts. Then there is a uniqueness in each soul as an individuation of Source, but there is a togetherness of the human beings. When you discover that and you really believe it in your heart, you will stop fighting, because you will see that whatever you do to others, you do it to yourself.
Oh, well, that is a wonderful way to end this. I just have one final question, which is, how can people find out more about you and your work?
Oh, they can go to my website, judithcosta.com, and there they will find everything, all the information about classes, workshops, private sessions, and there is a contact form. There is my email and my phone number there. Then if I can help you in any way, just be in touch with me. You can subscribe or you can go to social media, wherever it is, but I will be happy to have it as a part of my tribe. Then let's connect.
Well, Judith, thank you so much for being on Dream Power Radio today.
Thank you so much for inviting me, and I'm looking forward to continue the conversation with you.
Indeed. We've been speaking all about the Akashic Records with Judith Costa. I hope you've enjoyed today's program. If so, please hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any future episodes. Until next time, this is Debbie Spector-Weissman saying, sweet dreams, everybody.
You've been listening to Dream Power Radio with your host, Debbie Spector-Weissman. For more information on Debbie or to sign up for her newsletter, go to dreampowerradio.com. This has been Dream Power Radio.